The center of Fortnite's island has collapsed after being struck by non-stop earthquakes. When the dust settled, it revealed an ancient society from thousands of years ago, and in these ruins, drawings and statues warn of a world-ending event. To no one's surprise, we're in a lot of trouble. To make sense of the chaos, a group named the Luminaries rushed to investigate the earthquakes, quickly realizing that a jungle was growing out of the cracks. They set up camp to find answers to what's going on, and it didn't take long to realize there's more to this jungle. This is an entirely new reality that was brought to the island during Zero Fusion, and now it is finally breaking free from underground. At that same time, this payphone started to ring across the map, and when players answered, nothing was on the other side, just silence, and then they hung up. Fast forward to present day, where the forest has completely revealed itself, and hiding inside is a character that everyone thought was dead. Watching from the shadows, Dr. Sloan returns. After surviving a crushing conflict, Sloan found herself in a long abandoned jungle, where she has been recovering ever since. She was the one behind the payphones, but couldn't reach whoever she was looking for. Now she's set up camp near the tank that almost killed her. Sloan has apparently left the Imagined Order, saying to Gunner, "I told you I'm done," but it hasn't stopped her from starting a mission of her own. Sloan has a plan that is yet to be revealed, and it involves studying the wilderness of this ancient reality. When you talk to her, she gives you an ultimatum: help her or stay out of her way. Even Fortnite asks us, can she be trusted? It looks like Sloan only survived the jungle thanks to one person, Relic, a hunter who is searching for someone or something. He is probably one of the most mysterious characters in the story right now, especially when we delve into his origins. But before I could reveal that, Sloan scans the nearby temples and buildings.
These ruins are impossible to date using traditional methods. I don't like it. It's as if the residents just vanished.
These villages belong to a reality older than anything we have seen before, and at the center of it, the 0 point is covered in rock and moss. Surprisingly, that's not the most interesting part of this. Over on the roof of the temple, you'll find the remains of an ancient machine, known as the apparatus. It looks like a telescope, sure, but Sloan also thinks it could be a stellar projector. And the clues kept revealing themselves as we collect a shiny gem in the temple, and this introduces us to Trace. He inspects the gem and notices it's a prism made from kinetic ore, and they're a part of the apparatus. All of this ties back to the Luminaries as we learn Trace is a member of the group, the same one who's been investigating the jungle since day one, and he is leading the effort to figure out the backstory behind this reality. Over time, we'll find more kinetic prisms for Trace, and he'll use it to slowly rebuild and charge the apparatus. It's powered by kinetic ore, despite the fact that this civilization is probably hundreds of thousands of years old. This means they were very intelligent and had a lot of power. Sloan describes them as scientists and visionaries, so the question is, what did they do with it? Well, take a look at the carvings in the temple walls and you'll find a drawing of the apparatus in its prime. It shows it projecting a shape into the sky, and if this looks familiar, yeah, it's a resemblance to the cube's cradle. Further down the wall, this drawing actually looks like the end event from Chapter 2, with the pyramid blasting a beam into the sky and causing the cradle to appear. It's also based on the statues you can find around the jungle, showing ancient scientists with robot heads and gowns. Not to mention the runes on the walls are pretty similar to those used by the cubes, which many theorize to be the earliest form of their language. Now let's loop back to Relic, the hunter who saved Sloan from the wreckage. Fortnite always names their characters with a hint to their story, and the word Relic is very important this season. Aura is a treasure hunter, so a jungle full of artifacts is basically her paradise, and she has already set her sights on a relic called the Chalice of Cubetastrophe. And say what you will about the last reality, but they suck at naming things. Either way, this chalice was a powerful item made by the cubes capable of leveling the entire island. It is made of gold, and that's attracted someone else to it, a character we had long forgotten about who's made a surprise return in Season 3. As we track down the map to the chalice and uncover clues, it becomes more obvious who's after it. The chalice has found a new wielder and is gaining power, and can be contained if we find it in time. This is where we finally uncover the relic, and with a gold sacrifice, Aurelia is revealed. We banish her from the chalice and give it back to Aura, who seals it away so no one can use its power again. The question is, why was this cube relic in the jungle? Did someone leave it here, or is it yet another clue in the origins of the ancients? Let us ask Sloan.
I've scoured the villages of the people who lived here. Their inventions, their writings. They used refined kinetic ore to create amazing technologies. They were scientists, visionaries. And now, all we have of them is relics.
There's another important character coming into play here. Era has mostly gone under the radar, but Fortnite is intentionally hiding secrets like her 0 point clock or the idea the past lives within her. We have no idea how Era got to the island, but she's themed around time, so obviously she's some kind of time traveler. Everything refers to her ancestors who beckon her towards her destiny, but they're also known as past eras. Basically, she has multiple snapshots or versions of herself which she calls her ancestors, but it looks like Era could go back in time to see these past lives. Either that or she shares their memories and they share hers. It reminds me of Attack on Titan. In her loading screen, it claims she will learn from the past to protect the future, which explains exactly why she's here in the ancient jungle. Looks like most of our characters are trying to do the same thing, but the scariest warning comes from someone you would least expect. Fortnite is bringing crossovers into the story once again with Optimus Prime, who has hijacked the radio stations around the map. Listen to his secret transmission and he reveals a terrifying threat.
This reality is doomed to collapse, but hope is not yet lost. I cannot sustain this broadcast for much longer. Listen, and more will follow.
As we're approaching the end of Chapter 4, it is no surprise these warnings have already started, and it's all thanks to this ancient reality. The 0 point is sealed in stone, and everyone's confused. Did it do this to itself? Well, that answer may be right in front of us. In the files right now, the 0 point is petrified, and if you listen closely through the stone, you'll hear it groaning in pain and fear. This is all building up to the next phase of the orb, known only as Zero Lava, and finally, that dormant volcano next to Mega City might actually do something. From volcanic rocks in the files to this new Zero Lava, will it be the result of the volcano, or will the 0 point explode with molten rock to protect itself? Most importantly, what is it petrified of? There's something strange about this forest. Not only is Sloan gonna find the answers, this is the start of her new journey, and it's all thanks to Trace. As we know, Sloan originally had sand powers in the concept art, but those are nowhere to be seen in game. She also has a new symbol on her back that has nothing to do with the Imagined Order, and is only found in one other location, Trace's outfit. Trace has water powers, and as we know, he's the head of the Luminaries expedition crew. Despite this, he tells Sloan, "You know more about this place than anyone else on the island. I'm curious how." So they don't have a history together, they have only just met, but they have the same outfits? This could lead to a partnership where Sloan and Trace work together to solve the mystery of the apparatus. And with his water powers, he could lead her to find powers of her own, like sand. The true mystery is of course centered around the jungle. I've shown you all the evidence and clues hiding in these temples, which all points to one thing: the last reality. It's very possible this was the origin of their army, where scientists and visionaries came together to invent rifts and travel across realities. The apparatus could have been used for anything, but I think it's a telescope that could see into the future. In the drawings, it projects the cube's cradle into the sky, and considering how old this is, they were clearly using it to predict what would happen. As time goes on, the other 4 prophecies may reveal different moments of the story, until finally we're shown the future of Chapter 4. That's why turning it on is so important, so we can defend ourselves from its final threat. Maybe these scientists weren't the last reality or anyone relevant. They could have been a civilization who found out the truth of the cubes and were wiped out because of it. Or maybe they were brainwashed by the last reality and forced to worship them, as seen by the statues. Remember, multiple groups in the storyline are inspired by real life, like the Oathbound's medieval ties, the Imagined Order acting like a government, and then the Ancients, who are way too similar to the Mayans. In history, the Mayans were also obsessed with the stars in the night sky. They designed calendars, observed planets, and their temples were basically identical to the ones in Fortnite right now. More importantly, the Mayans are known for predicting the future. Whether it was accurately guessing solar eclipses or changes in the stars, they were usually right. But most famously, people believe the Mayans foreshadowed the end of the world, claiming that Armageddon would come on the 0 date, where our present universe would be annihilated. The next Fortnite Live event is confirmed to be this December, and with a literal telescope to the future, the days of us living on this island are officially numbered. That is Fortnite Season 3 storyline explained so far. This has been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.